Are you looking for a technical co-founder or a CTO for your startup? In this video, I will share with you the role of a CTO at different stages of a startup and 6 qualities a startup CTO should have to be successful in your startup. Let's go. Hi, I'm Nelly Yusupova, CTO, Startup Tech Advisor, and creator of TechSpeak for Entrepreneurs. For over 18 years, I've been helping non-technical entrepreneurs avoid costly technology mistakes and helping them gain the skills that they need to become more capable, competent, and confident entrepreneurs, which helps them be less cautious, take bigger risks, and seize more opportunities. So many early-stage non-technical founders who are looking for a technical co-founder or CTO come up to me and say, I need a CTO. But what they're really saying is, I need a developer who will work for equity that will code the very first version of the product. That's because in the early days, the CTO's main responsibility will be to build, only to write code. There's very little management since there's most likely no other developers. And as the startup matures, the CTO's responsibilities will shift away from coding to almost all managing technical teams. So depending on the stage of your startup, you should be looking for different skill sets. And just be mindful that in the early days, titles are often used as a marketing tool. And if your early CTO, coder, can't evolve into a manager or is not interested in that role, then get ready to have very difficult conversations because you might have to replace them or bring someone above them to whom they will have to report to. So once you're past the stage where you just need a developer, here are 6 qualities that you should be looking for in a CTO. And I would actually recommend that you look for these qualities even in the early stages of your startup, because if your developer possesses the qualities of the CTO, they will be able to easily make that transition into management role when the time came, which will save you the headache of replacing them later. The first quality a CTO should have is technical expertise on a lot of different technologies and an understanding what new technologies and trends are on the horizon. Unlike a developer who is generally familiar with a small subset of technologies that are within their expertise umbrella, a CTO needs to be an expert in a lot of different technologies. Not a deep expert, but at least have an understanding of the pros and cons of each. Their job is to be aware of what's currently available and what technologies are coming up so that you can take advantage of them, always staying ahead of the emerging trends. And because technology changes at the speed of light, constant learning should be in the CTO's DNA. The second quality your CTO should have is a great network. While everybody should have a great network, this is especially true for your CTO. As your company grows, you will need new developers, and a CTO with a great network of skilled developers who are generally very hard to find because they're almost never looking for work because they're so good at what they do. This will give you access to a pool of developers who are not often found on job boards, and this is a huge advantage for your company. The third quality your CTO should have is product experience. It's important that your CTO is not just a tech junkie, but knows what generally makes or breaks a great product. This knowledge should come from actual experience and ideally from working at other startups. Every decision that they make should always be with the customer in mind. Too many CTOs make the mistake of assuming that they always know what's best for the customer instead of asking the customer. The fourth quality a CTO should have is communication skills, both technical and non-technical. Your CTO will be the one translating business goals to technical goals to your software developers. This means that your CTO must not only have technical experience and business acumen, but they also need to be excellent at communicating with non-technical and technical people. They have to be self-aware and avoid assuming that the audience knows what they're talking about. They have to be able to communicate very complex technology concepts in simple terms and never talk down to someone who's less technical than them. Good communication goes hand in hand with listening. By listening to their team, the leadership team, and the market, the CTO's job is to balance the needs of technology, business, product, etc. The fifth quality a CTO should have is deadline management. A great CTO should be able to know how much their team can deliver and in how much time, and should be able to inspire their team to successfully meet these deadlines. They should also be able to implement a process in your startup to increase product development efficiency and improve transparency and team communication, and strive to constantly improve that process that they've implemented. Because every improvement in your process and team communication will have a great impact on your company's efficiency, your company's speed, and ultimately your company's bottom line. The sixth quality your CTO should have is people skills. Your CTO should be great at technology, but also great at managing a team. They should be able to inspire their team to keep focusing and working towards the same goals. It's their responsibility to facilitate an environment where employees reach their maximum potential and make sure that the team is more than the sum of all employees. The developer culture that they create and maintain will attract and retain other developers, so this is really important. A CTO who shares a love for learning, empathy, and a desire to see their team members grow professionally will be very successful at their job. And finally, this is not a quality, but a must for the CTO to be successful in your startup. The CTO should be a cultural fit with your values, because you could have the most perfect CTO on paper with all of the skills and the experience, but if they don't match your company values, they will very rarely be successful at their job. And that's why I am such a big proponent for hiring for DNA, matching your company's DNA to the candidate's DNA. And there you have it, 6 qualities that a CTO should have. It's not uncommon for it to take more than 6 months to find a CTO that matches all of these qualities. So make sure that you take your time and don't rush into a decision. Don't say yes to someone simply because they're willing to work for equity or a discounted rate. Make sure that you vet them, make sure that you spend time with them, and make sure that they fit your company culture and that they will be there for the long haul. Now that you know what qualities a great CTO should have, the next question is, how do you find a CTO or a potential technical co-founder? That's the topic of next week's video, where I will share with you why you have to earn a CTO and how to do that, how to build your tech network, and the best way to build relationships with tech people. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new episodes are released. See you next week.